right. A very interesting TNA. Guys, you know how I feel. I always tell you how it is for WWE, AEW, and TNA. And when you look at this show, compared to Raw and SmackDown, or even NXT for that matter, if you look at the booking, at least for this particular episode, it felt more natural. Now, what do I mean by that? Before I get started, there is a difference by making a story, trying to sell it, and then leading to a match. You can do your best to make it look good, and for the wrestlers to make it feel important. But there's a difference between forcing that story and letting it play out in a natural way that makes it feel organic. It doesn't mean it's 100% organic. Let's make it very clear. It's not possible to make it 100% organic. But sometimes when the wrestlers do their business and the story is decently done, it feels more organic. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean it's the greatest shit you've ever seen. But it does feel more natural. Like something people might do in real life. And not saying it's the right thing, particularly what happened with Mace Warner and Steph DeLander. And I got kind of a story for that. Yeah, I don't mind bringing my own life a tiny bit. But you get my point. It feels like, this feels like a more natural thing that somebody could actually do. Would do to somebody. Let's open with, well, it's not really that natural here when it comes to Jake Something and Steve Macklin. Yes, Steve Macklin went to, I believe, a soccer field with the soccer team in Rhode Island and poking the nose of the guy there and pretty much letting people look at his title, which is cool. That everybody does it. They do it for baseball. They may do it for football. Hell, they did it for soccer. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. It's fine. But now we get Jake Something with Steve where it looks like they legitimately hate one another. Now, does it look 100% real? No. Does it feel a little bit organic? I'll give it to you like this. The way it felt organic when basically both got a double countout, which was no contest, was not the fighting itself. It was the language that made it feel more organic. If you're in a fight with somebody, understand, when you're in a real fight with somebody, you're not going to say, well, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, you're no match for me. Not all the time they go there. They curse. Somebody, I think it was Steve, was cursing on and off during that match. Well, not during the match, but more during the fight. When Steve jumped on to Jake, and then Jake jumped back, I do believe it was Steve who was cursing. And honestly, in a real fight, there is no way someone is not going to curse at your ass. And him cursing, saying, get his fucking ass back in here, I believe that was one line, and say, fuck this shit. Or he just wants to get his hands around Jake Something's throat. It's not the fighting itself. It's not that the match was double counted. It was the cursing. That is the most important thing that needs to be understood. To make something feel more real or organic, it's got to have some level of realism. WWE and AEW do not always, well, WWE, the reason I'm botching you, WWE, they don't always do it. They rarely do it at all. They barely curse. AEW does curse a lot, but the problem here is they curse too much and it doesn't feel organic all the time. Whenever they do curse, when they say shit or something like that, that normally would give them a $10,000 fine. But you need to be reserved when you curse, to do it at the right time. And Steve, and I do believe it was Steve who cursed twice, he made it feel real. So even if the story of Macklin and Jake Something is not one of the best, it feels more organic because of the cursing at the right time. Next, Xia Brookside and Ling Yang Lee versus the Elegance brand of M and Heather. No Ash because it was a match tonight. This really didn't feel like much. It didn't really feel like anything but a regular match. And M ate it. Now, mind you, the match was not bad. The one that I felt looked the best was Ling Yang Lee. Now, I'm not going to say that she ain't gorgeous, because she is. I do really like her opening. She did it very well in WWE, but they never really did anything with her. Here, she's got the same situation where her entrance is just nice. Having the fan, how she does her martial arts, is actually quite nice. But right now, she's not really in any feud or any real storyline. So she's mainly in the Knockouts Tag Division with Xia Brookside. So she really doesn't have anything going for her right now except being in a tag team. So they won the match. Lee won the match over M. M is the one who ate it. And I think M is okay. Between the two, Xia and Heather are the most well polished on Impact TV. Doesn't mean Ling Yang Lee doesn't look bad, and doesn't mean that M looks bad, but you got two women who've been on the roster. Ugh. Let me give it to you like this. You got two women who've been there for a while and two women who have not, and they're beginning to build up into being more the standard. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying Ling Yang Lee doesn't feel like she's part of the roster, because she does, but she hasn't been seen a lot on TV. And then M, who's been in the back, and been in the background, who's now wrestling more, which she's fine. Now she's beginning to become more of a standard as well. This is just me. Anybody else is fine with it. Mara Sage versus Vicious Vicky. Now, let's make this very clear. I just released a Gump Goodness video, and someone commented saying, dude, you don't know that Carlos Silva has already got her on the roster. She is signed. Well, as I said in my comment, I want to make this very clear, and I need to say this because it needs to be understood. You need some context about what I'm about. Well, I don't normally do this because it's not something I like to do talk about myself. But I got to do this. Let's make it very clear. The Gump Goodness videos I'm doing are done in a batch in one day. I don't do them over days on the same day I release them. They're usually done on one day, and they're usually released one day at a time. And they could be several days or even a week late. A week or a week and a half or 2 weeks late. Because once we find out the information, I'll do the Gump Goodness video or Gump Report, and then I save them and then I start releasing them. So just in case someone else says that, you'll know these were already pre-recorded. I'm releasing these on a daily basis. I wanted you to understand. But there's a reason why I just said this. And this is out of concern. If you don't know, because I'm saying this to anyone who watches, because there's not that many people watching my videos now, and the numbers have actually dropped. There's a reason for that. It's not just because I'm watching these wrestling reviews later in the night, because I don't watch them when they're shown. I see a replay of them. It's not that. It's about the YouTube. Let's make it very clear. I don't like to talk about this, but it has to be done just in case you learn this yourself. And you're going to learn it. YouTube has begun to change their system again. And at this point, because, if you don't know, on the 14th of this month, YouTube has changed their system. If you don't know this. And this is how they've changed it. When the 14th happens, an AI algorithm is going to be set in motion. It's already being tested now, but it has not been used across YouTube in the United States. Not completely. Or worldwide. But when it comes online, you are going to be checked to see if you're an adult or you're a child. Yes. This is not something that's a joke. It is real. The new YouTube AI algorithm, as they say, is going to start checking your history of whatever you watched. And when you do get checked, if the AI, and it's not people, it's an artificial, well, let's make it clear, the current artificial intelligence is not full artificial intelligence. It's not even fully intelligent. It's semi-intelligent. It doesn't fully understand. But it will rate you on if you're an adult or a child. And if you fail that rating that the AI believes that you are going to be under its criteria, you could be barred. Sorry, my battery died. You could be barred from watching the regular content you watch, unless you show your identification, ID, you give a credit card, or possibly you need to show your face. Now, in the UK, if you don't know, the United Kingdom, they've already done this. You cannot watch any content generally now unless you give your identification or credit card or show an image of your face. Now, in America, on the 14th, they're going to try and roll this out where you got to show your identification or you have to show a credit card. If, and I want to make this clear so you don't get too scared, if the algorithm, the AI algorithm, sees you and thinks that you're a child, you will be barred from seeing any adult content. And understand, it's not about if your YouTube channel, like mine, says that you only cater to children. No. My data here would show that it's not meant for kids. It is wrestling, pro wrestling, where I curse. It is done when I make the video. But it won't matter to the algorithm that has now been set up with this new AI that will come online on the 14th of August. So the reason I'm saying this for myself, because my videos could be barred. Because if you're recognized as a child because of whatever you watch on YouTube, if you watch kid content because of your kids, or maybe old cartoons or something, or maybe Minecraft shows if you watch, or whatever, or gaming, you could be barred. So if you haven't noticed, on every video I do, I put a connection to Rumble. Now, let you know that when I do these videos, a lot of times YouTube will render the video quicker than Rumble will. So it could take about 30 to 40 minutes after I upload on YouTube that the Rumble will actually be accessible. So this is why I hope you'll do. Take a bookmark of the Rumble channel, because it's saying I am the Zane as well, and keep it so just in case YouTube bars you, I can still upload to Rumble, so you could still watch my channel and watch my videos there, just in case you can't watch. This is the only reason I'm saying it, because I want to make sure you guys can still see my content. I'm not, like on YouTube, I'm not making no money on Rumble. I only just did it a couple of days ago, and I'm still not wanting to make money. I'm not going to make any money off of that. But I thought you guys should know, because just in case you're barred and you can't watch, you'll be able to still see me. So let's move on. Now, the knockouts. Wait, I didn't say anything about. Well, let me give it to you like this. Vicky versus Shade. It was a fine match. It was all right. I'm sorry, I've forgotten. It was an all right match. Mara Shade, as I said in my YouTube, my video for her, she's all right. She was never a bad wrestler. She just got to show it, because she's more of a manager than anything else until the last of her run when she was in a tag team. She was never really a singles much. So she seems to be all right, but it's going to depend on how they book her, like I said. She looked great. Let's make her... I'm botching because I'm thinking about how woman got some curves on her ass. Mara Sage is a gorgeous woman. There's no lying about it. But it's also going to depend on how they book her now that she's part of their roster now. Moving on. The Knockouts World Title match. Ash versus JC James. It didn't last long. Say about 6 minutes before all hell broke loose. Where you got, and it makes sense, Ash attacks the Slamovich, the Destroyer, last time she had her match. And now Slamovich came back and basically nailed her in the back, basically DQing it and making it that Ash won it. And understand, before the match happened, when Ash found out what happened with Heather and with M, she was just mad. She told everyone to leave. And let's make it clear, that felt organic. I know you're going to say, dude, when it comes to the former Dana Brooke, she's not that great of an actress. It's not meant to be a great actress. It's meant to be at least believable if you got something important to do and people you know are screwing up and it's important that you focus on it, you're going to get pissed off at them and tell them to get the fuck out of my room or fuck out of my office. I don't care. it's not the point it was perfect. It was the point that that's what you would normally get. And the way she was sitting in front of the mirror was not bad. It's what you would do if you were in her position. You would be frustrated. You'd being like, this is my shot at becoming a champion. I've never been a champion. Understand, Dana Brooke has only been a 24/7 champion. That's the only thing she ever was. And it was a joke title that she was allowed to have multiple times. This is a real chance she has at a real title, which has now been blown. So right now we're going to have a big... We had Inspiration come out. Zaya and Zaya Brookside, Ling Lang Lee came out. Everyone came out to fight. And now not only is going to be at Emergence a 4-way match for the Knockouts tag titles. I don't remember if Ash is going to get the opportunity. I do believe they're going to set that up, that Ash will get an opportunity at whoever wins. That's what I think is going to happen. But this is just me. Now, let's put this in perspective, the last match. Joe Henry versus Ali. It was a good match. But there was no way Joe Henry was going to win. He had the great hands, the cabinet leader of a Tasha Steelz, and Agent Zero on his damn back. It was a good match. I did like it. I think I liked it better than any of the matches that was on the card, legitimately. It was one of the best matches I saw on the card here. And taking nothing away from the ladies, but this felt like the best match for me, personally. And seeing that he got screwed, it doesn't surprise me. Right now, he's going like this. But does this mean he's going to turn heel eventually? I don't know. But if they're trying to set him up to be so frustrated that he's going to start cheating because he just can't stand being treated like trash, I could see that happening. So they are giving him a decent arc going down, descending into constantly losing. That's good. Now, let's get to the stuff in the back, which I felt to be very organic. We had about 2 or 3 segments that happened, either the video packs or talking in the back, that felt very organic, or in front, outside. Let me give it like this when it comes to Gia Miller, which I was interested in seeing what she was going to say. Gia, when she was with Gabby, talked to her and said, I needed some time off. Of course, I took it. I needed some time to adjust. I'm all right now. But she turned to the camera and she made it very, very clear to a Tessa Blanchard, I've been a professional, but understand this, we're sick and tired, and she's basically saying, I'm sick and tired of getting treated like I did. And the next time whenever you come back, the next time you try to touch me, I'll fucking kill you. The look in her face said it all. Now, if she just said, I'm going to get you, that wouldn't have been as impactful as, I'm going to fucking kill you. They bleeped that out. And then after looking like a crazed woman, and then turn to Gabby and say, okay, I'm going to try and, well, basically he's going to do a job and interview Joe Henry. But that is organic. It's made very clear she is fucking pissed. I don't ever want to get touched by you again. If you do, I'm going to fucking kill you. That is what a person would naturally do if they're angry at somebody. Now, mind you, you don't have to curse every time. And I want to make it clear, if you talk well enough, you can get over that way and make it feel organic. But in this situation, with Gia Miller, it made perfect sense for her, who's not a wrestler, who does interviews, who does work in the back, for her to act like that. And yes, we know she wrestled. Yes, I'm not saying she hasn't wrestled, because when she did throw down the episodes of that, she could wrestle. So she can still wrestle. It's obvious eventually they're going to have this. Tessa's coming back, and she will go after Gia, which is going to lead to a match. And I think it might be in Bound for Glory, or maybe, I'm hoping Bound for Glory, that they build it into that, and they don't just do it on a TNA Plus show. Now, the next one. Let me give it to you like this. Did I like what Cedric Alexander said? Yes. Saying when he used to be on MySpace. I had a MySpace. I did. I had a MySpace. And the way he was talking was not something different they would do on MySpace. He didn't have to bring in a MySpace. He did. he brought a little bit of his own history. And he made it very clear. It was meant for Destiny. And he put over Leon Slater, I like Leon. I really do. I really like him. He has personality that I really do like. And seeing that Cedric is doing this, it's good. Now, is Cedric one of the best when he talks? No. But it did feel more natural. Like it wasn't being forced down your damn throat. Now, what was being forced down someone, you know what that means? That sound like, or you gonna do like this. I have to now say it because I didn't forget. I didn't forget about Steph DeLander and Mace Warner going into Santino's office and doing the damn business. And this is my story for myself. Let me give it to you like this. I've never hidden the fact that I've been dyslexic. And I went through special ed. I never said I didn't. I was very lucky that I managed to get through school. And I managed to graduate with a high school diploma. Unlike people back then in the 90s where you would get an equivalent, I was one of the rare few who did double classes of regular classes and special ed classes to get the points necessary to go for an actual diploma and not get an equivalent GED. Now, the thing that I'm bringing up about this is that I always struggled with school. But when I went to technical college where I met my wife, what those two did, we also did, but in a classroom. And I'm not saying what type of business we did. We just did it. And I can identify with two guys, well, not two guys, one lady and one man who were waiting for somebody, kind of like what happened with me. And no one showed up and made it very clear, why don't we have some fun? And what they did is what I understood, and I've done it myself. But we didn't get caught. Unlike when it came to Santino Marella and his daughter of Ariana Grace, who was going into that office, and he said, oh my gosh, and he said, what's wrong with you, you son of a gun? You ruined the sanctity of my office. And he's guiding his daughter away, but then he goes, son of a gun. That is something, admittedly, not everyone would do that, what Santino would do. They might just keep the damn door open and say, come on, get that business done, we're waiting. Or they will walk away. Or they would call somebody and say, those two are fucking in your class, come get them security. Those are the types of things that would happen. But it is something natural that could happen. So like I said, this feels more natural than what you normally get. Now, the last segment I'm going to talk about, because I could talk about Kaz, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know if Matthew and him are ever going to wrestle. I don't know. I don't think they are. But if they do wrestle, it'll be interesting. But this is about You see my thumbnail. You see the Richard Swan back again with no dreads in his hair, looking skinny as hell. He used to be, understand, the boy used to drink, and he used to be thicker, bigger. But the minute he stopped drinking, just like with Mox, he slimmed down. And we get the first class segment with a Rich Swan, a Casey Navarro, and an AJ Francis. Let's make it very clear. Sad. It sucks that KC Navarro currently has an ACL injury and he's got to get surgery. He's out. But the last segment he did was, I believe, one of the best work I've ever seen him do. Not just in the ring, because he's done good work in the ring. Let's make it clear. KC for the last 10 years has busted his ass to get into TNA. And I remember seeing him on the indies a few times. Not a lot, but maybe 2 or 3 times I've seen him. And then I forgot about him. And then when I saw him again, I remembered, but I never really mentioned it on the reviews. I did finally remember him because I did see him in Major League Wrestling. I didn't see him on NWA, but I did see him in National Wrestling League back around 10 years ago. Like when I saw MJF, I also saw him. I do remember seeing him, but it was so long ago I had forgotten. But I started remembering. I thought he was interesting. But this is the best I've ever seen him talk. And AJ Francis said, you're done. Not in all those words, but he's basically saying, you are done. Rich is back. You were always a placeholder. And then Casey went off on AJ Francis, saying pretty much, who is the one who is basically falling on the damn sword for you? That's me. Who is busting his ass and not literally, who's taking every bump for you? When the trainer say you shouldn't go, he said, I don't give two damn flips. I'm gonna go for you. And then AJ said, you know what? Fine. But every single time, I had to carry your ass away after every match. And every match you did, you lost. You were always a placeholder until Rich came back. And remember, when Rich left, of course, we didn't say anything about him going to rehab. You were there to take his spot for the tag championships, for us to win them. And you failed. And again, with the ladder match, you failed again. So you're done. Rich was out, you were in, and now Rich is in, you are out. And the last thing to do, and that's not really always realistic, you'll not usually see someone do it, but pretty much AJ Francis kicks out the crutches and KC hits the floor. Not everyone would do that. That's not something you would do unless you really want to fight with someone and you know you can't get the ass can't beat you. And you would be that prickish, dickish. But in this case, AJ Francis is a prick. And seeing did Rich talk well here? He didn't really talk well enough for me in enough time to really see how well he's going to be. We're going to find out in the next couple of months as they do the tapings. But as it stands, I'm going to tell you this. This was the most natural thing that was on this show. It was. Seeing that, Casey might have been playing it up a little bit, like he wanted to cry, but he didn't want to give the satisfaction, but he was getting emotional. I'm not going to tell you it looked perfect, but this was the most organic story you could see. It felt real because most of it was real, but the way that AJ acted, the way Casey acted, it felt that a guy who took the spot of somebody else and wanted to prove that he could bust his ass and really be there for him. And he gets stabbed. He gets screwed. After he gave so much, the guy who left has now come back, and instead of just letting him stay a part of the group, or at least if he got to leave, which he's got to, be treated with respect, he's being treated like he's a bitch. That is organic. That is when you really have set up a situation that really feels real. Now, mind you, it is real. He's got an ACL tear. He's out for a while. But it felt real enough that he didn't just come out and just say, this happened. I can't wrestle right now. He tried to say, but he couldn't. But they set it up in the storyline that those bastards screwed him. And that's going to give him a reason when he comes back to be a face. And he could still be as charismatic as he was before. It's just now Casey Navarro would not be a heel who's going to go with the music. He's going to act the way he wants. He's going to act like a face. He could act like a damn Santana now. In his own way. Because he's not supposed to act like Santana. But he'll act something like Santana. And Santana will probably show him respect. Because that's what Santana tried to do months ago when he faced him. But this is just me. I hope you enjoyed this TNA review. Please give me a comment below. And remember, if anything does happen and you're barred from seeing this, and I hope nothing happens, the AI does not screw you, you do have Rumble. Just when you see this video, go to the comment section. The comment section. You'll see the connection to the Rumble. It probably will not be uploaded yet. It'll be rendering. But at least you will have the web page that you can go to if you cannot reach me. Peace.